Hi, welcome to Marriage Mondays.
Hello,
I'm Taylor,
I'm Ryan.
and today
It's Marriage Monday.
we said that already.
It's all good. It's been 2 weeks. What kind of
Rusty?
well, this rusty rhythm's a little off. It's like in the basketball game, first quarter. We shooting some air balls right now, but it's all good. Stay with us.
Yep. Today we are talking about gender roles in the home and marriage. So I told my husband that I don't think there should be any roles specific to your gender in the home. I know a lot of people grew up um, with the mother doing the cooking and the cleaning, and the father doing whatever, like labor intensive work. And I was discussing with my husband, and I said, I don't think that should be the case.
Yeah, and I kind of get what she's saying. As we have evolved, because I think a lot of times traditional gender roles go from the time in which we was living in, where the women mostly stayed at home and the men went out and they labored, and so like the roles traditionally was of that of the past, and we know that as time has progressed, women are more so out in the workforce, and um, men are also working as well. So like those things have changed. But I think like in a marriage, you try to take the old and mix it in with the new. But a lot of this has to do with communication and understanding what are your partner's good attributes. You know what I mean? And so like for me, and depending on however you guys relationships are, like some people do things a lot better than others, and sometimes you have to humble yourself and allow that person who may be a little bit better in doing one particular thing than you are, and you allow them to do it. So say for instance, I'll say finances, right? So I'll start with that because we always know money is a big topic in our modern society. A lot of people value one another compared to, I mean, they value each other own finances, but say for instance money is concerned, I let my wife handle our finances, right? And some people say, well, that's kind of weird, that's old school, or that's like traditional, man come home, give the wife the money, and then he go on by his day. But I said for me in my household, what would be more effective was me giving that responsibility over to my wife. Now that doesn't mean I have no inkling of what's going on with our finances. It's just that she's the overseer and she's proficient and efficient in that area. My wife, she's been dealing with money and transactions for 10 plus years. And so I felt comfortable. I felt at peace. She's extremely responsible, and I thought that would be a smart thing to do, to allow her flourish in something that she's has already been productive in.
Yeah, thank you. But see, I never considered women handling finances being traditional. I always thought it was more of the standard practice for the man to handle it.
Maybe true, but for me personally,
What you grew up with.
what I grew up with,
Yeah.
because everybody grows up in different, like the dynamics is different in their homes.
Mm-hmm.
And as we know, the family structure has changed a lot from 50, 60 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so whether you have a two-parent household or a single-parent household, you will have a different perspective. And so what I had to, like I say, take from what I've learned and say what was good and how can I incorporate this in the beginning stages of our, relationship.
Yeah, and I think we've done a lot of things um, that are really against the grain as far as like when what's a typical gender role, because normally I feel like the mother is the primary caregiver, but for a while in our marriage and after having children, you were the primary caregiver. Like, you stayed home with them and I went to work because of your hours. But our hours have always been, I think, with work, it's never been on the same schedule. So, um, no matter what job you were working, so it just kind of, a lot of times, you end up spending more time with the children than I do. And I think that's not typical, not
Yeah.
not standard.
Yeah, and I thought that like even in um, that role can humble you a lot when you are like the primary caregiver of a child. Um, and I know there's many women out there who have grown up in single household and like they may have had their their partner maybe well have the baby from time to time and whatnot on the weekend. But one thing I really did realize that the it was the amount of time mentally that the child consumed. When you're a parent and you wake up in the morning with your child, and then you start the day, and then at night you with your child as well. There's so much that's going on that you have to mentally prepare yourself for, and they deserve. Well, they not only deserve so much attention, but they garner so much of your attention as well. That I always wish that guys who may have had a child outside of with their lady, and then they're no longer together. I always wish it was like a mandatory 3 month span that you just keep your kid. Like the mom, she can get to have 3 months by herself, and the guy breaking the traditional mold, and you have to keep your kid for like 3 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom can come pick them up like 2 days a week, so they can really understand the mental capacity that's needed to care for a child throughout the week. So then, therefore, a lot of males could be a little more understanding, in those roles where women be like, "Hey, I know you come and you get your kid and you provide finances, but this can be draining mentally.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of went on the rabbit hole to another, kind of to another topic, but I always thought like, and when I first started getting into that role, I was like, man, I wish guys really like that should be instead of going to the court and saying, hey, I want what is it called?
Child support.
Child support. Yeah, forget child support. I need you to have this kid for 6 months straight. Like I,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you watch this Joker. Don't give him to your grandmama or your sister. You be with this kid and see how it feels to maintain that. And I promise you,
It's a humbling
it'll
experience.
humble you. Cause for many of you don't know, so during that time frame, I was working at the gym,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'll go in after and I'll do like physical consultations and things of that nature. So at the time that I went to the gym, I met a lot of mothers who were like either single moms or were stay at home moms. And so I used to have these conversations with a lot of the women in there, and they'll just you can see the dread on their face because they're like, man, these are first time moms, or even maybe second time moms. They're like, oh my gosh, it's just so much. And guys are sitting there like, I'm talking to them. I'm like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot,
Mm-hmm.
because I had twins, and I'm waking up in the morning.
One of the twins broke his glasses today,
Oh yeah,
y'all.
oh yeah, God, look, my baby.
So if
Trinity
anybody is like me and they watching this video, they're like, I can't get over the fact that his glasses are crooked.
my glass got gangster lean right now, man.
Trinity did that.
Yeah, and so she got me good. And so I'll be talking to the women in there, man, and I was able to not only hear them out, but I could relate to them. I felt the pressure, and I made some really good connections with people because I was like, wow, my respect for women went to a whole nother level because to see is one thing, but to actually have to experience it and do it, I'm like, man, I wish more guys was able to just take on that full responsibility of having to do this for a consistent period of time. And I think the value of the women and how we see our women will go up a lot more because, you just won't, what I'm saying? You don't take that that responsibility of that woman being, your child's mother so lightly. And I'm not saying that men do, but until you experience having to, take your child every morning, picking them up every evening, it'll make you, like I said, you salute to the mom. And so to all the mothers out there, who have watched over the babies from infancy all the way up until now, um, respect, and we honor and we salute you guys, because that's not an easy task, and it's not just the physical toll, but the mental toll and the emotional toll that it takes on you as well.
Thank you, babe. I'm speaking on behalf of all the mothers that are hearing you say that. Thank you.
Yeah.
We thank you. But yeah, so all of that coming back to the point that I don't think we followed the traditional gender roles throughout our marriage. There have been so many times where, you've cleaned the house. It doesn't always fall on me. I do most of the cooking, but you will step in and do it from time to time.
Every blue horn moon, I might cook.
But I mean, I don't think that's because I'm the woman. I just think I don't know why that is. I don't know. I don't feel that gender roles need to exist in your household as far as the duties of the household. I believe that you are the head of the house for sure. 100%. But as far as the duties within the house and things that have to get done, your brother said it like this, and it's always stuck with me. I don't know how many years ago Kelly said that. He's like,
"What up, though, Kels?"
He's like, if there is a job that needs to be done, somebody has to do it. Like,
get her done.
It's not a man or a woman. Like you came home. Was that the night before last? You came home and there wasn't food on the table. You came home on your lunch. There wasn't food on the table, and I explained to you why there wasn't food on the table. And on your lunch, you pulled out food and started cooking. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, when there is a job that needs doing, somebody has to do it. It just has to get done.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think you just said it. If there's something that needs to be done, just get it done, And I think it's given, like, according to the situation. If, say for instance, I think it's like communication, but then it's like silent body language as well. Like, if you can read a room and you can tell, say for instance, like, we got kids, and ever since we've had our children, like, washing duties have been ridiculous. Like, man, like,
we can have a full load of laundry in one day.
A full load of laundry real quick.
In one
what I'm saying? And it piles up fast.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like, all right, you can wash it. You still got to go downstairs and dry it. And then you still got to take it from downstairs. Then you got to fold them. Well, we know more. I mean, I ain't gonna speak for everybody. The washing and drying will probably get done. The folding,
never.
Probably ain't gonna happen. I'm sorry, boss. Man, that's a whole nother level of, like, I would probably pay somebody if they just only want to come over here and, like, fold the clothes. That's all you. But anyway, whatever you see that there's a need, you go and you help it. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times we try to do that for one another. If you are feeling pressured about the role, just share it. You know what I mean? Just try to say, hey, over the next week or two, write a note. I wouldn't mind you just taking care of this for a little bit. You know what I mean? And I think that will help out as well.
Yeah. So I'm just interested to know, all of our viewers who's watching this, how do you feel about duties in the house? Do you feel like a woman should do certain things and a man should do certain things? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Click thumbs up.
Yep.
Leave a comment. And also, women, please, and men, share. I really want the guys' thoughts on, you know, I know it's like mostly known in the world that if there is a household where there's single parents, majority of people always say that they're single moms. But for the fathers out there, please share, man. I want to hear you guys' experiences on having to, take care of the child majority of the time, and how does that feel, and what have you learned as a man, by watching your kid for a long period of times. So, yeah.
That's it. Have a good night.